What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. 864. It's a peculiar number. 864. I wonder why. This is like, look. I'm like, the rhetoric around PlayStation 5 Pro has been boop, 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 down, 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 down. Bad, bad, bad. There's a bunch of, damaged controllers out there. Jeff Keighley included. But it's not working. And the last time this happened was when they introduced the Xbox One. They said Xbox One reveal launch reveal event. TV, boo, 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 boo. A lot of memes and stuff happen, right? What's happening now? A lot of memes and stuff are happening, right? The public has spoken, and it's not looking good for the PlayStation 5 Pro. The only way they can course correct this to gain favor with the public, change the price, lower the price. They lower the price, then everybody be like, that's better. All right, I'll buy it now. And then everything will be forgiven. All sins will be forgiven. That's it. There's nothing else they can do. Now, if y'all were paying attention, now I've seen a lot of influencers say 840p, 847, 850, 800p, just to round down, whatever. They said, Digital Foundry said, even though, they're whatever, 864p. That's what Max Payne 2 is running at on the PlayStation 5 Pro. The same as the PlayStation 5. Why is it the same resolution, A? Why do you need to buy a PlayStation 5 Pro? That's the questions we're asking. And that's what everybody's asking that. It's like, and why is it $700? Once again, every little bit of new information that comes out about the PlayStation 5 Pro is bad. And it makes you even not want to buy it even more. Now, I say 864p for a reason, because the same game runs on the Xbox Series X. Guess what the resolution is? It's 840p. Wait, is that right? Or 842? Now I'm forgetting the number. Anyway, it was a 17 frame difference, right? And I'm like, I think it was 840. I was like, really? I got my X for like $440 or something like that, like $450 or whatever is on sale. Or was it $399? It was like close. It was $399 or $450. I can't remember. It was on sale. Got a deal. I didn't get the deal, $399 deal, but I got the whatever. And so you look at that, right? $450 versus $700, and you get 17 pixels difference. 17 pixels. And they're going to be like, oh, well, but the pisser technology is going to make it yellow and better. And I'm like, really? I watched it because, Digital Foundry's been everywhere. Like, they had the initial thing, and they're like, oh, it's close to 470. Then Richard had to come back and say, oh, actually, it's not that. Correcting all these fanboys. Because these fanboys, they get the information. They're like, oh, it's a 470. I'm still watching D-Badge talking about, oh, it's equivalent to a 470. Wrong. That's a lesson for Richard. He's trying to be nice or to damage control or to give them a little bit extra, but he's like, I need to be accurate on this because this is our reputation. The Digital Foundry reputation is more important than Sony's reputation, because Sony and Digital Foundry are two separate companies. They may seem like the same company, but they are two separate companies. And as much money as Digital Foundry gets from Sony, I'm not sure how much it is, that's not ever flowing well. It's not. It will dry up one day, and it's gonna start dry. It probably has started drying up already. That's why they kind of they saying it like it is, and they ain't sugarcoating stuff. But listening to what Digital Foundry was saying this week, Alex was going in on them like, look, if you're expecting to get 60 frames across the board, don't buy the PlayStation 5 Pro. I was like, damn. He just went, the boosh. He mushed them into the ground, dirt. Poof. Not dirt, but the actual dirt. Not D-U-R-T, D-I-R-T. I know I say dirt, y'all be like, oh, blackness. But yeah, he was like, yeah, this ain't the one. I'm like, yo, what happened? Did we like went to sleep and then the universe has changed, and then now it's a different universe, multiverse, boop, and it's like now Digital Foundry don't like Sony. So I don't know what happened, but they were like, nah, B. I mean, the only one, Oliver was like, yo, I'm gonna get one because I mean that's my job, and whatever else he said, I don't remember. But I mean, any excuse that people say that they want to get this, I think they're in denial. Either they have the money and they're like, look, any little upgrade, I'm for the bleeding edge technology. And if you got the money, then fine. You go ahead and spend your money on the bleeding edge, which is like beep. It's like barely a bloop bleep, barely nothing you can tell. And I'm like, because here's why the PS5 Pro is a bad idea. Okay, this generation, I was rocking the Xbox One X for the first, I guess, year or two or whatever. I was like, whatever. And I said, you know what? Let me get an S. It's mad cheap. I think it was a sale or something for like $250. It was $250 plus it came with headphones. I was like, and the headphones were like $50. So I was like, it's actually $200. Get an extra pair of headphones because I already had a pair. So I was like, screw it. I'm gonna get it. I got it. I was like, all right. And I started playing. I played all the games that weren't on like the One and stuff. I was like, all right, this is cool, right? Boop, boop, boop. Then eventually I got an X. I got a Series X. And I put that on and I started playing the same games. Let me see how different these games are. I was looking at it, I was like, the games aren't that different. If you look at, I mean, yes, they're different side by side. You can say, oh man, this was uglier than this, or the rest. But when you're playing it, right, you play the S and then you turn it off, blah, blah, blah. You go and turn on the X, same display. Barely, I mean, performance-wise, probably, but I mean, every game is optimized, so it's like, it's like, yo. And people don't realize, mainly the ponies and donkey unicorns who are in denial, that the PlayStation 5 Pro is barely more powerful than, or barely above the power set that the Xbox Series X is, right? And I would say that the difference between power between the X and the Pro is smaller than the difference between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Like, let me explain it more better. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 Pro. That's what I'm saying. They're so close that the 10% in CPU boost that they say that they can do isn't, which was just like, yeah, no, that's not nothing. And he said, when you start at a super low number, then 10% ain't nothing. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said, essentially. And I'm like, ouch. It's like, damn, they just catching strays, son. PlayStation's catching strays from Digital Foundry. They're like, I was like, wow. And think about this, right? You think about public sentiment, zeitgeist, whether it's negative or positive. I don't know if there's negative zeitgeist. I mean, it's just, whatever. Zeitgeist, I think, is technically positive, but you know what I'm trying to say. And what the media is saying, what the public is saying, for the most part, you look at the practicality of the price and the device itself, and past history, how they handled it, and all these things. And you can say, well, this price is way too high. They're not going to sell as many as the PlayStation 4 Pro. I'm seeing people saying, oh, it's probably going to do well. It's probably going to sell well. I'm like, how are you saying that? Because the only way that happens is if all the scalpers buy all the inventory of the PlayStation 5 Pro the initial inventory, let's say it's 1 million, right? So I would say 1 million will sell. No problem, because all the scalpers. And then the scalpers are going to sell them for like, what, 1,200 or something like that? Easy. And some people will buy them, some people won't, whatever. And I think that's what Sony's plan was. It's like, yo, scalpers are going to buy them anyway. Let's charge them a whole bunch of money, and we can get our money, and blah, 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 right? That's just a theory. I know I said that last time. But you look at the PlayStation 4 Pro, right? It replaced the initial regular PlayStation Amateur. Same price. They did not follow that. Even if they would put it at the increased price at $550 or whatever, right? It'd have been, even at $600, it would have been acceptable. Even by me, I wouldn't have bought one, but I'm just saying, okay, whatever. That's a price that people were willing to pay, $50 more than the regular, right? Sure. But they went in and they went too far, and it's not gonna sell. I said before, what did I say? 8% or something like that, or 10%? I don't remember what I said, but I don't know what it's gonna sell, honestly. Let's see, 10% of 60, let's give them 65 million, 6.5 units. 6.5 million units. I don't know. It's not gonna sell a lot. It's not gonna sell a lot because everything is against it, and it's not even just that, right? And if you just take the product in a vacuum and against all the other products and all these things, it's not really even worth it then. And the thing that's going to make it worse for PlayStation 5 Pro, PlayStation, in selling this product is that the negative press keeps on. It's not like it's negative press and then, oh, they're going to distract you over here with some positive stuff. And no, it was like, okay, Concord, the worst game ever. Astrobot, oh yay, what's Concord? I have amnesia. Then PlayStation 5 Pro, oh my goodness, what are they doing? What are you doing, Sony? Who's talking about Astrobot right now? Zero bodies. Zero bots are talking about Astrobots because the PlayStation 5 Pro sucked all of the oxygen out of the proverbial room, and it keeps getting worse because they were like, first the presentation was stupid. It's like, Mark Cerny, right? And then people were like, what the hell? What did I just watch? I almost fell asleep. His soothing voice. And then like, wait, what? What? Right? And then Digital Foundry's like, huh? Wait, we still have questions. And then they got some info. They got some raw. They got that raw footage. You know what I'm saying? Raw. They like it raw over there. They got the raw footage. And then they put it up, and then they're like, okay, this look better, right? And then they got the sheet with all the info on it about the games. And then that's when the 864p. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, no, that's way too low. 864p. 864p. That's what we're doing? PlayStation 5, that's what's up? I'm like, look, that's, like I said, if it was the same price as the regular PlayStation, then it's like, all right, well, you're getting the same performance, basically. I mean, no, you're getting the same resolution, better performance with their pisser technology, everything yellow. Look, they bungled this so bad. They bungled this worse than Concord. Okay, nothing's worse than Concord failing how it failed. But this is number 2. I mean, it came right. This is number 2. How can Sony? And now we got rumors that Marathon is just hot trash and it might be canceled. Well, that's what Mag said, but I don't know about that. I'm like, how's there no good news? How? They must be like, okay, we got some good news, but we're not gonna let it leave because then it'll get erased and forgotten because all this bad news is so bad. The good news is not good enough to overact and counteract the bad news. So they're like, shut up with the good news, let all the bad news come out, and then we're gonna put out God of Cyber World. I don't know what they're gonna call Cory Barlog's new game, but it's Cyber Kratos. Spartan, Cyber Spartan. I don't know what it's called, but that'll be a game. Hopefully it'll be good, man. And the only thing that Sony has to do, basically, is put out good games, which is kind of been their strength, or what people say their strength is, bangers. And they put out the worst game in history. I mean, how does a company, how does a studio, how does PlayStation put out the worst multiplayer game ever created in the AAA? Ever. The worst. How? How's that happen? You got God of War, you got Uncharted, you got Last of Us, and then this comes out, and it's like, huh? Who? How is this? This ain't the same. What happened? And so I'm looking at I'm looking at Marathon, and I'm like, I mean, the trailer was pretty. They had a lot of primary colors, pretty nice. But and that game, it was supposed to be an extraction shooter. Now it's something different. It's a hero shooter, but not really. But I'm like, look, y'all are confused. Y'all don't know what you're making. I have no faith. I got no faith in Bungie because they're a hot mess. They're just a bad omen. Microsoft dodged a bullet back in the day. They dodged a second bullet from the same shooter, and Sony caught the biggest stray. That $3.6 billion stray, that's what they caught, and they're still paying the price. Even when they pay off that Walmart layaway loan, they're still gonna be paying the price because Bungie is losing the money. Bungie lost the money when they canceled The Last of Us multiplayer. Bungie lost the money when they canceled the Spider-Man multiplayer. Even though that would have been a bad deal for Sony, every Spider-Man game is a bad deal for Sony, if y'all didn't know. But even though it would have been a bad deal for Sony, they would have made a little bit of change. They would have made a little bit of something. No. And it's funny that, well, whatever. That's not what we focus on right now is 864p. Now, it was Alan Wake, and it was another game that is escaping my brain right now. But they were both, I believe, 864p. Same resolution as the PlayStation 5 Amateur. What is the point? What is the point of the Pro? What is the point of the Pro if it can't even bump the resolution and bump the frames? What kind of whack ass upgrade mid-gen refresh is this? It's like, oh, but the frames and the pisser, and I'm like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. And like I said before, the public perception is that it's dog shite, and nobody wants it. I mean, when I say nobody, I'm not saying exact. I mean, there's a handful of people who will get it. It'll sell a little bit. Scalpers will buy it up, but ultimately, it's going to fail. When you look at like the PlayStation 4 Pro versus PlayStation 4 5 Pro, I don't think it's going to sell as much as the Pro did, as the 4 Pro did. I don't think it will. It will be a miracle if it does, but I don't think it will. Because the Pro did what? They say 14 million, 10, I said 10 to 14, 10 to 15 million units. So that's, and based off of 100 and, how many units did they sell? 100 and, I don't remember, 120 something or so. So it's a very low percentage. It's, yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. I mean, they're not going to go out of business per se. They could if they wanted. They could probably sell whatever if they wanted to sell off the PlayStation business. But they're in serious trouble. They don't know what they're doing. Studios are falling apart. And the main thing, and I'll keep going back to it because it's very important, because this is what happened to Xbox, is the public perception. The public perception is starting to change. The narrative is starting to change. And the narrative right now is, why do I need this console? I don't need this console. Not gonna buy this console. For the most part, the general public, that's what they're saying. Even they know that it exists, okay? Like Joe Schmo casual man or Jane plain casual lady, they're gonna be like, PlayStation 5. They're gonna go in the store when this thing is out. PlayStation 5, where's that? Where is that? Oh, there you go. $549. I get the $549, $699. They look this. Gotta get the cheaper one. It's the same, right? They play the same game. I'm gonna get the cheaper one. They buying it for little Timmy, right? Why would they spend $700? No stand, no get. I mean, come on, son. They wouldn't. And all these creators, all these dudes are like, oh, it's for the enthusiast. It's for the enthusiast. I'm like, y'all are idiots. Either y'all are idiots or Sony are dumb. Because why would you make, okay, you know what? I take that back because they've done it before. They made a solid gold, 24 karat gold, like Walkman back in the day when the Walkman was like 20 years removed. And like I said, there's the princes in Saudi Arabia, like, I wanted gold for my gold room. So they're going to make a gold PlayStation 5 Pro, sell it for 50 grand or whatever, and somebody will buy it. You know, they'll make one and somebody will buy it. They do things like that. Sony's goofy like that. But so that tells me that they're not going to make a lot of these. Now, does that make it valuable? To some, maybe, but in the grand scheme of things, no, it doesn't. If they made like 5 of them, sure, yeah, it'll be extra. If it's extra rare like that, sure. It's like the Trailblazer SS from 2000. They got 2006 or 7 to 2009. They only made like 20,000 of them or something like that. I can't remember what the number is, but it's less than, I think, 50,000. And so that vehicle is sought after, and it's still hovering around like 17 grand for that. And it's a 20-something-year-old vehicle, almost 20 years old. But, you know, they're cool. It's basically a Corvette and a Trailblazer in an SUV. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. I like my Trailblazer, Trailer Bailey. But, you know, the fanboys are, you know, they're saying this rhetoric about this, that, and the other thing. They're saying, oh, you know, it's comparable to a PC, but it's cheaper than a PC. You can't do price to performance, blah, 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 right? And I'm like, y'all don't understand. and some of them are even trying to compare it to like the phone, cell phone model, right? The smartphone model. And I'm like, y'all don't understand. You can't compare a home video game console to a computer and cell phone, smartphone. Because the smartphone and the computer, whether it's a laptop, desktop, doesn't matter. They are more valuable because they do more stuff. That it's just a simple logic. With a computer, you can start a YouTube channel, get some free editing software. DaVinci Resolve is good, and become a star or whatever you want to do. You know, you can't do that on PlayStation. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna make my own bespoke animation and upload it to PlayStation 5 Pro. Like, no, that's not how PlayStation works. You can't do that. And PlayStation is very restrictive of what you can do. And same with a cell phone. Everyone pays these exorbitant prices for cell phones because they're fools, A, and that's Apple's fault. And B, everyone needs a phone. A phone is basically a computer in your pocket. So it's the same thing. Content creators, phone. You want to film something, phone. Something's popping off. Oh shoot, I got to record this because, you know, world star, phone. Guess what I'm recording right now? This video right now. Phone. I know people are like, oh, you should get a camera. I have a camera, but it's big and bulky and I don't want to bring it everywhere. So phone. And also, phones are so good now that I'm like, they're rivaling DSLRs and mirrorless DSLRs. And I'm like, I mean, I could buy a freaking Apple, an iPhone, 15 Pro Max. Well, the 16 Pro Max, I think, is coming out or came out already. Or I could buy a freaking Canon something. Or a Sony something. I think the Sonys are a little bit more expensive than iPhone. But the point is, that comparison is not valid. You can't compare it because it's just a product that people buy. It's about the actual product. You can't do anything with a PlayStation 5 Pro except play their goofy ass games. That's it and that's all. You can stream, but it's not ideal. You can't have backgrounds and all that stuff. You gotta put it through your computer and you can't do it all in the PlayStation 5 Pro. And that's why it's not worth as much. So when you compare it, you're just comparing gameplay. If a computer only played games, it probably wouldn't be as much as it would be because it would literally be a console. It would be the Steam Deck. What they tried to, not the Steam Deck, the Steam Machine, what they tried to do back in the day. Valve. But no, that's not what computers are. Computers are different. And that's why, last thing, it's interesting to follow what Microsoft is doing with their hybrid approach whether it's the handheld or I think it's more importantly the PC and the API and how they make their games. And if they can somehow make it so that their console games are the same exact code as their PC games, so they don't have to do two bespoke versions, then that's a game changer. They've tried to kind of do that with the WAP or whatever it was back in the day, but it's different now. But anyway, I've rambled long enough. I appreciate y'all hanging out, y'all listening to my ass, like and subscribe. Hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think about 864p for the PlayStation 5 Pro. We can round it down. 800p PlayStation 5 Pro. What's going on? What are y'all doing? It's like, yo, they had bad news, and it keeps on going and keeps on going and keeps on going, and it's like, whatever. I don't even know. I'll wait for the next round of bad news, honestly. But I appreciate, and I'll check y'all next one. Till the wait.